Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we are going to be doing another battle of the eyeshadow palettes to continue this Michelle-ness that we have going on here. If you guys don't know what that is, my name is Michelle, aka Michi Makes Up, and every December I have decided to do a whole entire video marathon where I post videos for consecutive days on different things, whether that's reviews, tutorials for the holiday. Usually there are some of those because I always like doing that for Thanksgiving and New Year's and Christmas, because I know a lot of people sometimes don't know how to do their makeup for these things, and I just enjoy doing tutorials. Anyways, so in today's video, we're going to be doing a battle of the palettes using the Huda Beauty Rose Gold Textured Eyeshadow Palette and the Huda Beauty Rose Gold Remastered Eyeshadow Palette. So you guys are probably like, wait, what? That's how I felt too when I first saw that she came out with the remastered version. I'm like, why the heck is she coming out with the same thing all over again? It's going to make me sound like a total dork, but I don't care. I don't know about you guys, but I did end up watching both seasons of Huda Boss, which is pretty much a Facebook watch series that she has where she talks about like product development, how she comes up with ideas, talks about the photo shoots, kind of like behind the scenes on all her launches, and talks about her life too. It's kind of like Keeping Up with the Kardashians, but Huda Katan version. I just found it very interesting because she talks about a lot of things that intrigue me, which is like kind of the process on how she comes up with different ideas, you know, and how like the profit margin is and all of that stuff. Because I do know that a lot of people have complained about Huda Beauty's eyeshadows being very expensive. And when I first got the first eyeshadow palette that she launched, which was the Textured Shadow Rose Gold Edition palette, this palette, I remember when I opened it for the first time, like when I took it out of this slide and I did this, and I saw the size of these eyeshadows, I was like, holy crap, this is so tiny. Because I was expecting like really large eyeshadows. I watched her Facebook watch series, and she talked about, she actually was, one of the seasons, she talked about this eyeshadow palette and her idea of remastering it. So pretty much what she was explaining was that when she came out with this one, it was her first like big launch. I don't even know if they had lashes at this point, but it was her first big launch, and this is what really like blew up Huda Beauty as a cosmetic brand. And she was talking about how they didn't have a lot of money to like really invest into all the ingredients. Like they tried using the best possible ingredients that they possibly could to make this palette and still make profit off of it. And you know, she's very innovative. She's always trying to come up with the newest, the latest, something unique. You know, if you've seen any of her other eyeshadow palettes, all of them have like different textures and stuff like that, which is really cool. So she's kept that texture theme very consistent in all of her palettes. But the one thing everyone hated about this palette here is how hard it was to blend, because these mattes are pressed down so hard that when you get the intensity and that pigmentation, but when you go to blend it, it's just so hard to blend, and it takes a while. So a lot of people, like, they liked how the look came out, but they hated how long it would take to blend and stuff like that. And then she was talking about remastering her baby, the original one, and making it into something that she really wanted. So the first thing that we can see right off the bat is the packaging. So this one has this hard plastic here where you can see everything, but then you have this cute little case here where it's like the eyes, and people would hold it in front of them like that or whatever. And then you opened it up and there was a clear sheet that protected the shadows that you would put on top here, and then you have your shadows here and the names and all that stuff. So very basic, little magnetic closure. It's pretty sturdy. Then for the remastered one, you can definitely tell that there's just so much more effort put into it. Retailed for the same exact price. So we still have the $65 price point. Same exact size, so nothing has changed. Width is the same. Everything about it is the same size, same everything, pretty much. So then on this one, we have a lot sturdier cardboard. And we have a nice mirror, and it's a really nice mirror. Like, you can see your whole face in this mirror. And then in the inside, you also have the same clear protective sheet, but this one actually has the same picture as the inside of the palette, which I thought was a cute touch. And then we have the eyeshadow palette. So this is what the remastered version looks like. So that's the reason why she came out with the new one, was because now that her company was actually being profitable and they had more money to invest, they could invest in better ingredients, better quality, and just kind of take what people hated about this one and change it in this one. So one thing everyone hated was the foils, the textured eyeshadows, because you had to use your finger with it. If you use a brush with it, it's super flaky, it's super dusty. It's a cool concept. It's really pretty when you apply with your fingers, but people just didn't like using their fingers because, you know, if you have long nails, it's hard to use your fingers. So people just didn't want to touch the eyeshadows with their fingers. I don't know why. And not all of the shadows are that foiled, because then we have like these two here that are just regular shimmer, but then you have Trust Fund right here in the middle, which is a straight up foiled shadow. So you can see, I don't know if you can see the difference there, but it's just a different consistency. So we have those shadows right there. So in this one, she came out with this shimmer shade, which you guys can see it clearly in the camera. All these shimmer shades have this weird divot in the middle. And something that I remember her talking about, I don't think she talked about this in the series, I think she talked about this on Instagram, was that the reason why that was doing that was because of the density of the eyeshadow and the way that it was baked, caused it to like sink into the pan a weird way. But it doesn't mean that your shadow is defective, because these shadows are just as stunning and pigmented and beautiful. So I'm gonna really quickly swatch all the shadows. On this hand here, I'm gonna swatch the remastered. On this hand here, I'm gonna swatch the original. I'll be right back because I'm not gonna do that on camera because it's gonna take forever. So that way you guys can see. I'm not gonna have any primer. Whenever I do swatches, I don't put primer on my hands, my arms, just so you can see the true color. Okay, so we're back with the swatches. So over here is the remastered palette, so you guys can see what everything looks like there. And then here we have the original palette. So obviously I did keep the same order on which the palettes come in, but as you guys can see, the colors themselves are actually a little bit different. And she also did organize them a little bit different in both of the palettes. So she actually was talking about this again. What she did was she remastered some of her favorite shades. She changed the formula of the foils to the shimmers. They're like these glittery metallic shimmers is what she did. If we look right at it, the first color is still the same. So we still have Dubai, we still have Fling in the same order, but then we have Trust Fund where 24K was. I don't know why she did that, because 24K is still in the palette. Then we have Rose Gold in the same spot, but then we have this new color here called Pink Diamond, which is absolutely stunning. You guys can see it right here. That is what Pink Diamond looks like. It is so gorgeous. Probably the main reason why I wanted the remastered palette was because of that color there. And then we no longer have Angelic, which is up here. Then we have the next row down here, which we have Blessed here, hashtag Blessed, and Blessed is still in the remastered, but it is a little lighter and it is down here now. Then she changed up Bossy and put in this color here called Risque, which is a little bit brighter of a burgundy. Then we have Dollface instead of Flamingo. Flamingo is a lot lighter than Dollface. Dollface is more of a pink true color. Then we have Demir, where Shy used to be. I feel like they're literally the same exact color. Then we have hashtag Blessed here. Moon Dust is here. Moon Dust is also in the original, but the original is more yellow than the new one. Then we have another new shade called Bubbly, which is stunning, and that actually replaced Bay, which I was kind of upset about because I do like having a matte, like vanilla shade for my brow bone, because that's what I highlight my brow bone with. So I was a little tiny bit upset about that, because I feel like you already have Moon Dust. Why are you going to put another shimmer in there? But I feel like she just wanted to add another shimmer formula. And then the bottom row on both of them are exactly the same. So we have the same exact colors, same exact finishes. Nothing has changed about that at all. So we are going to put both of them to the test. I've already put them to the test. I'm wearing them both on my eyes so you guys can try to guess which eye you think is which. And if you guys want to know my thoughts and review on both of these palettes and whether if I think it's worth getting this palette if you already have this one or just getting this palette in general. Before we jump into the tutorial and my final thoughts, if you guys aren't already subscribed, make sure you guys do subscribe. Hit the red subscribe button down below right here, as well as the notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos. And give this video a big thumbs up if you like these type of videos so I know what videos to make for you guys in the future. And if you guys want to learn my thoughts on both of these palettes and see if it's worth getting the remastered if you already have the original, or if it's just worth getting the remastered in general if you don't have either, then continue watching. Alrighty guys, so my eyes are already primed. This eye we're gonna do the rose gold remastered palette, and then on this eye we're gonna do the original rose gold palette, which looks like this. Just so we know I'm not cheating, I'm going to use the color switch that I have here to clean my brushes off in between as I transition between eyeball. The first color I'm going to start off with is this color right here called Sandalwood. So we're going to go ahead and take that on a Morphe JH03 brush. My eyes are still so raw from that video that I did, where I did 5 looks. So we're going to take Sandalwood from this one, which is the shade here. All of the bottom row is exactly the same in both of the palettes, which is nice. So this one is a little splotchier. I don't know if you guys can tell how that one looks so much more blended out, while this one is a little harder to work with. The Morphe M518 brush, which looks like this, and I'm going to go ahead and dip into the henna shade right here. And we're going to use that shade to start deepening up our crease. Look, I'm cleaning it, just in case you guys are wondering. There's still a stain left, but there's no more pigmentation. So we're going into the henna shade in the original palette. Same brush. Tap off any excess. There is no excess. Yeah, it's definitely, I'm going to zoom in a little more so you guys can really see. So look, you guys see, it's just a little patchy looking. I mean, it's blending, but it's just a little patchy, while this one is not patchy. We're going to go in, ooh, zoom back out, my bad. All right, so then we're going to go into the shade called Cocoa, which is this shade right here, and tapping off the excess. I really should do that on camera so you guys can see. We're going to start applying that on the outer V of my eye. It is going on a little patchy, but it's easy to blend. You know, I don't have to use as hard pressure. Going into Cocoa from the original palette. Tapping off any excess. There is no excess in this one. Man, I haven't used this palette in a long time. Okay, I'm cleaning off the brush, taking that same brush though, and blending. So this is remastered, which is very nice and blended. This is original, which you guys can see what I'm working with here. So remastered, original. Grab a little bit of suede, which is right here. I'm gonna zoom out in a second. The brush, I did clean it off, just so you know. So I'm gonna show you guys. I hope you guys could see that fallout. So this is just gonna deepen this up a little bit more. I know the color looks like this weird gray color, but it's actually really nice for deepening up the outer corner without adding a black, which we are gonna add the black, just so you guys know. But it's a nice alternative if you're not into black eyeshadow in the outer corner. I'm grabbing suede from the original. So I think this is my first time using suede though. What made me want to use it was I was watching Huda do a video, and she was using suede to deepen up her outer corner, and I really liked how it looked. Clean JH30 brush. I'm going to add the black in a little bit. I'm going to work with the lid color. So I think I'm going to work with a little bit of Trust Fund and Rose Gold. Because since this is the Rose Gold palette, I feel like Rose Gold will be a good color. So I'm gonna take a brush. And I know that with the original Huda ones, the foiled shadows, you're supposed to use with your fingers, but we're still gonna use this flat synthetic brush. This is one of my favorites. This is a JH41 brush. I love it because of the size of the brush. It's super small, but very dense. So I feel like it does a good job at applying shimmers to the eye. I'm gonna go ahead and take that. It's not wet or anything. Move a little closer for you guys. Okay, there we go, there we go. You guys see that? It's a nice, pretty copper color. And before I go over it with my finger, I want to use the same brush, Trust Fund, from the Rose Gold Original. This is the foiled eyeshadow palette, so I'm digging up and down with the formula. This kind of reminds me of the Kylie new formula. Tapping off any excess. That Kylie new formula that I was talking to you guys about in my Kylie video. I don't know if that video is coming on after or before. Okay, so this synthetic brush is actually working. It's not the best, it is still a little tiny bit patchy. So I'm gonna actually do something because I just remembered I have this. So this is that Fender blender thing that she came out with. That's like the synthetic rubber side, and then it has a sponge side, which the sponge side is actually really nice. It's just a nice shape, and I feel like it applies shimmers really well. But I'm gonna take the Fender blender and a little bit of Trust Fund, because this is supposed to be like your finger, but then you're not gonna dirty it like you would with your finger. So we have it on there. You guys can see it. It's on there. So I'm gonna use that in place of my finger and see what happens. I don't know if I'm liking this. Now let's go over it with our actual finger. Yeah, I feel like the finger is the way to go. Use the real thing, guys. You can see now it's a lot more blended. So then I'm gonna use my finger with Trust Fund from the Remastered. I did clean my finger on the makeup brush cleaner, just so you guys know. Then we're gonna go into Rose Gold. So I've already seen my finger is the best way to do this. So finger, I already have Rose Gold, gorgeous shade. Ooh, very pretty. I was not expecting that. Definitely more of your pinkier vibe. So I'm just gonna kind of blend that on top. Very pretty, very soft, but still glittery. Taking Rose Gold, you can see my finger's clean. Rose Gold from the foiled original. Fingers are still the best way to use these foiled eyeshadows. We're not done there. I'm gonna take one of my favorite eyeliners. This is the Essence Super Last eyeliner in matte black. This is just like the NYC matte black, except that one was like almost smudge proof. So I'm gonna go ahead and line my eyes with it really quick. I'm just gonna do a regular light liner. I'm not gonna wing it out because we're gonna smoke it out, and I'll be right back. So I'm gonna take the Crown brush, C528 brush. This is exactly like the Morphe one, the M507, but except just a little smaller. Take a little bit of Black Truffle, which is the same shade in both palettes. So what I'm gonna do is use this to kind of blend out this outer corner here. This is something that I really have been enjoying doing, like kind of not finishing my makeup and doing this step where I kind of make like a little C here. I did it in my ColourPop Bare Necessities palette. I don't know, I just feel like it adds some nice depth and smokiness just to the outer part of the eye. Kind of blends in that eyeliner. Okay, so there we go. That's what we have working for us right here on this eye. Can we see that? Everything looks good and blended. It's looking really nice. Same thing on the other side. Cleaning off that C528 brush, I think is what it's called. So I'm gonna start out by trying to blend out that liner. So we're almost like creating like a wing. I'm just gonna blend out that liner, and then from there, I'm gonna create almost like a C shape. This black is definitely more pigmented in the original palette than in the new remastered palette. It doesn't blend out as easily. So they look pretty similar now. This one's definitely a lot more blended out than this one. The last shade we're going to use is one of my favorite shades in the original. This one is Moon Dust. This one obviously is the new one. This is going to be our inner corner highlight. This is just as gorgeous. Holy Bob. This is a Morphe E36 brush, by the way. Grab Moon Dust from the original. Okay, so from the original, I can already tell that the original is a lot more yellow gold, while the other one is more of a white yellow gold. I'm gonna go ahead and put on my lipstick. I'll be right back to share with you guys my review or my thoughts on the two palettes, and we'll be all done. So my makeup is all complete. This is the finished look using both of the Huda Beauty palettes. You can see what they both look like. And then this one is the original side. Really quick, just in case you guys are wondering what's on my lips, I use the Morphe Bite Me lip liner. Their lip liners are amazing. If you haven't tried them, you're sleeping on them. They're super cheap, very creamy. I love them so much. The only thing I hate about them is sometimes the top is not, like it comes off easily. So it kind of makes me a little upset because it gets all over the place. And then the MAC taupe lipstick topped with Carity Gloss, or Carity the Gloss in the color Layla. So this is the lip combo that I have on right now. Just in case if you guys are curious, I just feel like it goes really well with the eye look because it enhances that coppery color and trust fund that we used earlier. Overall, I think that I definitely do like the remastered palette a little more because it just blended out a lot better. If you guys can really see a difference on camera, but in person, I definitely can. I just feel like one, maybe even with the foiled shadow, I feel like this one still looks prettier than this one. This one almost looks this one looks very splotchy. And I did the same amount of blending, and probably even more on this side than I did on this side. So this one's a lot splotchier. I just feel like I had to really work to blend it, which is what I remember when I first got this palette, that I had to blend so much with this palette, even though I would get gorgeous looks, because I will say that the intensity of these palettes, or this palette, is a lot, it's a lot more pigmented for sure. I feel like the colors are more darker and truer, while the colors in here are a lot softer. So I feel like you're not gonna get that same type of a look. Honestly, I prefer building it up any day compared to having this splotchy hot mess on this side. I don't know, that's just me. I think that if you can get it to look flawless and blend effortlessly, then why not go for it, you know? Obviously, this one is no longer available. You can't get this anymore. But if you guys have this and we're just curious about this one, and we're like, is it worth me getting the other palette or the remastered palette, even though I already have the original? I personally say it is. If you were that person who hated this palette because it was hard to work with, the foils were very inconsistent, you had to use your finger with this. But if you loved the color story that you have here, you still get a very almost identical color story in this one. You get these beautiful shimmers that are a lot easier to work with, and these mattes that blend it out like a dream. I got this one when it was on sale. I think it was actually 50% off. So I got this for like $30 something or something like that. So that's the only reason why I ended up getting this one. So you have to just kind of be like stalking Sephora sometimes. What I do is I always add things to my cart all the time, and I'll just kind of check on them sometimes. And I saw that this one was 50% off, and I was like, what the heck? So it just kind of happened randomly. It's not like she promoted that there was a sale. So I jumped on it, and then I decided I wanted to see if they were similar, because this one was a very pricey palette for the poor quality. While this one, even though it is very pricey, I still feel like the quality is pretty good, you know? Yeah, that's pretty much it for my thoughts. I recommend getting the Rose Gold Remastered, and if you just don't have either of them and you were thinking about it, I recommend the Rose Gold Remastered. I think it's a beautiful palette for everyday looks. I think that if you're a makeup artist too, that this would be a perfect palette for you because you have a lot more of your deeper nudes, you know? So you have those darker nudes that you can really create a nice, pretty smoky eye with. So anyways, that is my review and my thoughts on the two palettes. The winner of this battle of the palettes clearly is the Rose Gold Remastered palette. Highly recommend, definitely love it, think it's a must. I really like Huda Beauty eyeshadows, so that's pretty much it. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then.